What's up? I wanted to get straight to the point today because, like, for me, it's not necessarily about um, my personal emotions, but it's more about the overall picture and why my emotions are being affected in a way to help get a overall understanding. What I mean by that is pretty much what I want to talk about today is the social anxiety, particularly and within people that are aware. I feel like everyone obviously is aware, but connecting to the spiritual aspect, that's the concept of awareness that I want to talk about and how social anxiety plays into that. I never like to look at myself like I'm above, but I definitely recognize the fact that I come with an energy of its own. Um, Me and a lot of other people, you know, how we react to that can be very different. We have some people that um, allow it to engulf them in a way where they lose themselves in it, and then we have people that take that energy and use it to enhance them in whatever direction they choose to go. The energy I'm talking about is anxiety. So to me, what is anxiety? Anxiety is um the ideal of what you should be or what you aren't, and whatever falls within that. So the fear that comes with that, or the motivation that comes with that, or the pressure that comes with that, that's all anxiety for me. I feel like a lot of people are dealing with anxiety or expressing it more over because we're in a place where we're losing lack of direction. I mean, we're in a state of lack of direction in general. Like, it's not about losing or gaining. It's just not necessarily having as much structure as it would have been in the past. Um, and the structure was not necessarily based off of us. The structure was based off of the system. And now people are in a state of being aware, and that's why a lot of spiritual people, or people that have a form of consciousness that's a little bit elevated from the norm, deal with anxiety. Moreover, it's not because there's anything wrong, except for the fact that we're not necessarily mastering this state of being, and realizing that, you know, everything that you go through is part of the process. You know, you put a lot of expectations on yourself when you know that your potential can be of an unnatural status, meaning that you could come and actually influence the world in a way that will leave a mark, or leave your own signature. I meet a lot of people who actually are beyond just anxiety and the mental, but the anxiety is starting to take over in the physical. And for me, I don't want to call it anxiety when in relation to myself, because, like, I recognize that, you know, it is part of the process, and I know that, like, fear is not of me. For example, I know that anxiety is not of me, so I don't want to say that I'm suffering from anxiety, but I do feel the emotions that come over me sometimes, for whatever reason. So, like, right now I'm in a place of development. I feel like that'll be for my whole life, but this form of development is without backing, meaning that I don't have anything to get me to the next level, except for faith, for the most part. And faith is really the only thing that you would need. But when you're dealing with a physical world, you know, it causes a form of fear or uncertainty when you don't have that material, you know, and that is anxiety, I guess. I used to think that people that suffer from anxiety are people that are scared of being themselves, but also it's about recognizing these emotions that's helping to contribute to your knowledge and your wisdom that you can help other people with, and that's just a part of the process. Like I said, a lot of people like to be sugarcoating it, and you know, a lot of people say that you should just vibrate in a positive, but lately I've kind of been like, you know, I just want to see how it is to just be. Like when you sit in a state of just being, which is the way that you can actually get any form of understanding, it's just so interesting how the body is kind of like programmed to feel like it's wrong, and we're constantly in a state of trying to go and go and go and go and not necessarily even thinking about where we're going. And that's why we put a pressure on ourselves that's so unrealistic, and it causes our body to kind of malfunction in a form of anxiety, making you feel like a fear is something that is actually realistic when nobody is living the life that you can live. Timing is something that nobody can control, you know what I'm saying? And the way that your life develops is even something that you can't control. You just know what it is that you want to stand for, and just hope that everything that comes your way is something that you can continue to grow from rather than become. I know a lot of people that give up, social anxiety or any form of anxiety. I say social anxiety because that's when you're connecting to other people, and that's when you're able to actually recognize these differences between you and other people and all that. So that's what causes the anxiety or the fear that like you're doing something that's inaccurate or not of your true purpose. And I just really wanted to know, why is it that we feel that when we connecting to other people, rather than feeling like, okay, this person is an individual on their path and they're growing towards whatever they feel is necessary for them at that time in that moment. A lot of people, when you're choosing, which a lot of spiritual individuals, star seeds, or just anyone that's trying to leave a mark in this world, we're dealing with that concept of feeling like the pressure to kind of speed up because time is seeming like it's going a lot more faster. I don't think that's a coincidence, but I think that contributes to the anxiety or the fears or the pressures or just the idea that you should be doing more. When I'm in a place where, like, especially today, like, sometimes life tells you that you can do so much into this direction, but if it's not for you, it's just not ever going to be for you. And you can build up a certain type of construct that would hurt you because of the fact that you can't control certain things, rather than just being like, okay, this is what it is. I don't want to necessarily try to make it what it's not. I don't want to try to keep on forcing it to be this if right now let me express, like, when I'm in a state, I went to sleep crying. I woke up, I was still crying, and it's not just a cry. I feel like it's a releasing. A lot of people, when they're in those states, they will feel like, okay, well, this is not a place that I need to linger in, because if I'm trying to attract more positivity, I have to be on a certain type of vibration. When you're not understanding that within these darkness, within these shadow elements, that this is what's helping you strengthen up, so that when you are in the positive light aspects, you're able to really know how to maneuver a lot better and with a clearer mind. A lot of people don't like to linger within this energy, and when you try to fight lingering within this energy, I feel like that's what causes a lot of those anxieties that a lot of spiritual people deal with. I always like to be the person to be like as real as possible. I feel uncomfortable, like I get social anxiety when I feel like I can't express these parts to society, like the parts of like the shadow elements and stuff like that, because I feel like people wouldn't go through that, when in reality, for the most part, that's something that we linger in a lot, especially in these times and days when we don't necessarily see the outlook of what our influence is doing. A lot of these influences that we're putting out into this world right now is not really showing, like I said, any form of manifestation, but it's actually accumulating in the mental and causing those type of shifts within that. Now what happens when your body is starting to react actually in a way that makes you uncomfortable because of the fact that you're denying elements within your inner? Why is that? Because you cannot run from what is, and you cannot change what is. You can put so much effort into what you will want, but at the end of the day, what is always going to stand true. So you would just hope that you could blend what is with what you want. And the way that I could explain that with myself personally is like the fact that what I want is to be financially free. What I want is to be happy. What I want is to be loved. But realistically, I have to learn what love is. So with that concept, I have to go through constructs that's going to make me realize what love is not first. So I can know when love is coming. I know how to maneuver with a clearer mind and actually be able to recognize it for what it really is. You know, those parts that people don't like to necessarily dive in or linger in is the reason why when stuff come that's supposed to help elevate, we can't really come with a clear mind or recognize or acknowledge that that's what that is. And that's why the anxiety is there. That's why the fear is there. That's why the uncertainty is there. It's because we feel like we want to change what is inevitable. You can't change those parts about being in this world. And that's one of the things I really hate. You know, you have to take all aspects that come into a whole. And a lot of people are dealing with anxiety, especially the starseeds, because we know what we want and we see the ideal of how our mind can really shift, but we can't change the fact that what it is still what it is. And we have to become, and we have to not even become, but like be within that energy in order to get to where we want to go after. It's not going to be like we just be what we want to be, what we want to be, and then it just continue to just mold. No, you have to kind of blend into that concept of fear, blend into that concept of hurt. You have to blend into that concept and grow the understanding so that when you are being your truest self, like when you choose to now push out your energy and influence, now you're in a place where you know both sides. You know what I'm saying? So if you're pushing out and it's still not going as you want, as how you would assume it would go, you can still know that it's for a reason and still keep on pushing. You know, a lot of people, a lot of our starseeds that come back, we deal with a lot of anxiety and a lot of hurt because you have to recognize in order to change anything, it takes action. And action is not easy. You know, action is not just doing it. Action is feeling it. Action is not just feeling it. Action is believing and seeing that this is for the biggest vision. Like, and I'm speaking in a 5D way, but like I can give as much detail as possible and you still won't be able to understand it unless you're living it. You know, so if you are living it, the best thing that I can say is that when social anxiety comes, you recognize that it's not a bad thing, and it's not something, even when it hurts you or when it makes you feel like you worthless, that's not something that's a bad thing. It's something to let you know a other side of what you resonate with, you know what I'm saying, so that you can see the bigger picture. How do you heal social anxiety? Is to go through it, never to avoid. You know, I feel like a lot of times, you know, you feel the fears of feeling like if you feed into it that you will lose yourself. And what you not, or what a lot of people don't recognize, and even with myself, is that you're not losing yourself. You're always going to become more of what you are supposed to be. You don't see your whole true path. You just know that your purpose is to influence in a certain type of energy, but you don't see that what you have to go through is also making you this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would never believe that, you know, you had to go through so much heartbreak so that you know how to be a lover. You know what I'm saying? But that's part of the process. So social anxiety to me is just a part of the process, and it's something that a lot of people look at as if it's something that's negative or something that's unnatural or something that you should reject, when in reality it's just part of what's helping making you whole. So you gotta take the good with the bad, and that's just what it is.